even one Spirit-filled parent in your family. Now, if you're here and you've been given the inestimable gift of having two believing parents, this is as close to heaven on earth as we might get in the household. You have, by God's grace, two Spirit-filled, God-called, blood-bought parents who, despite all their failings, nonetheless gave you, through God's grace, a household where Jesus Christ is praised. And perhaps only those among us who have lived in a godless house can best say how miserable it is, how hopeless it is to be in a Christless home. And so despite the many trials and failings, yet consider the love of God in giving you two believing parents. Consider what pitfalls God has saved you from. Consider and contemplate what sins and confusion and darkness God has preserved you from by making you holy in a house with a believer, or perhaps even two. He has kept you from so much darkness. He has preserved you from sin. We've sunk so low in our day, many children don't even have two parents at all whatsoever around, let alone one or even two of them believing in the gospel of God's grace. Nonetheless, here in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, as we look at holy, in the letter of the 1 Corinthians, we see that God, objectively speaking, because these folks have been called out of the world and into the kingdom of His grace, while they were nonetheless still growing in the grace and knowledge of Jesus Christ, and we could read to and fro in this letter at various problems, many stumbling, nonetheless, God says, you are my holy, chosen people. You are set apart from the world. You have been identified with Jesus Christ, and you have been adopted into God's glorious family.